Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop shutting down a restaurant in Liberty State Park the day after it hosted a fundraising dinner for the New York Young Republicans. Fulop and New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy then went on to tear into Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz for attending the gala, which he doesn't deny. He joins us now to respond. Good to have you back with us, sir.
Oh, thanks for having me, Shannon. The folks I know from Jersey are smart and tough, independent. They don't like getting told what to do, and I'm sorry that so many great fellow Americans have to live under these edicts and lockdowns that don't really seem to be connected to science. It's more about reactionary politicians trying to expand their power.
Couple things. The spokesperson for that venue said actually they confirmed the number of guests was within the allotted capacity. Tables were spaced apart. There were no bars, no dancing. All guests were required to wear a mask coming in and exiting. They say the New Jersey State Police were in fact on site throughout the event to ensure that guidelines were followed. So with all of that in mind, their defense, The Hill says this: images of the fundraiser, and we've showed some of them, posted to social media show people not wearing masks and gathered close together. So what can you tell us about that night and compliance with what New Jersey had in effect at the time?
Some people at the gala were wearing masks, others weren't. A lot of folks that were wearing masks might have taken them off for a photo. There was additional spacing at all of our tables. I can tell you that I have the antibodies. I had a recent test for antibodies before I went and spoke to the gala, so I knew that I wasn't a risk to anyone. They are not a risk to me, and so I was perhaps a bit more lax than I was prior to my positive test for the antibodies. But this isn't about me. It's about the blue-collar folks who just want to have a chance to show up at work, do their job, receive an honest day's pay for an honest day's work. And what's sad is that in too many areas in our country, people's jobs have been rendered illegal through no fault of their own, and there really isn't a disparity when you look at my state of Florida and the state of New Jersey in how mandates have helped the people. They've hurt people far more than they've helped them. When you look at the impact on incomes and the disintegration of a life that can come with the loss of a job.
Governor Phil Murphy of New Jersey was not happy that this event didn't take part in New York, didn't take place there, which is the genesis of this club, of this organization. Here's a bit of what he had to say about the event.
It is beyond the pale that anyone would willingly endanger people in another state, never mind their own.
I know the governor's had a lot to say to you. What have you got to say to him?
I think it was Governor Murphy who recently was out at dinner with his family. So why is it that these Democrat politicians think that they can engage in conduct that they want to deprive other people the opportunity to engage in? I guess if I'd have shown up with a cinder block ready to throw through a Nike store, to walk out with some Air Jordans and then light a Waffle House on fire with kerosene, Democrat politicians would have viewed that as political activity. But if I show up in a suit to give a speech to a few fellow Republicans, all of a sudden that's a great public health threat. The American people see the double standard that is on display. Governor Murphy has to stand before his voters in the next calendar year, and I may find my way back to the Garden State to be a part of that campaign.
Well, lawmakers have created a difficult situation for themselves when they do seem to have a double standard about gatherings and those kinds of things. I want to quickly hit on this story that broke regarding some of your colleagues, one of your colleagues on Capitol Hill, Congressman Eric Swalwell, who ran for president in the last year. When he was further back in his career, apparently a Chinese spy reportedly cozied up to him. The New York Post talking about this, saying her plan was a long game play, meaning her role was to strike up a relationship with you and see if you'd move up the line, said former Fremont, California Mayor Bill Harrison, referring to what he said FBI officials told him. Swalwell's team says he hasn't seen her in years. He's provided information to the FBI and can't say more. What do you make of it?
We should not view this challenge just through the lens of whether or not we like Eric Swalwell, because the problem is so much greater. China is buying, bribing, compromising our politicians in this country. And the worst thing we can do is lose focus on China. Now, that focus was lost during the impeachment proceedings, where Eric Swalwell himself accused me and Jim Jordan and my other colleagues of being Vladimir Putin's lawyer. And I guess one has to ask, how could Eric Swalwell say that he was certain that Donald Trump was an agent of Russia when he couldn't even identify the agent of China that was working alongside his political campaign?
Again, his folks say that he hasn't talked to her in years. There's going to be more digging on this because there were apparently a number of lawmakers at different levels that she attempted to get close to, and we have to know she is not the only one from China being sent to do these things. All right, Congressman, good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Shannon. This is Congressman Matt Gaetz. If you like that video, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on social media, and join us on our daily podcast, Hot Takes with Matt Gaetz, on your favorite podcast listening platform.